Hey, what's happening there, folks? Welcome back here to another update on a Friday night here. It's the Earthmaster, March 8th, 2024. It's about 10:42 p.m. here. Again, Friday night. Hope everyone is enjoying the weekend. Well, started the weekend. We got some earthquake activity ramping up here once again outside the Reno Sparks area in Nevada. This has been an ongoing deal here with earthquake activity over the last month or so. And if we were to go back here, we could see, hopefully we would be able to see. Ooh, that just kind of jumped down here. Am I still live? Okay, it looks like I'm still live here, but for some reason, that, see what it did, right? When I zoomed in here and clicked on this stuff, it kind of messed with my network connection. So, yeah, a little odd. All right, we'll continue to watch that, though. Either way, earthquake activity here around the Reno Sparks area. Maybe they don't want me talking about this. When I clicked on the last 30 days here, it brought everything down. But, all right, here we go. Earthquake swarm. Wow, I don't know, number 3, I think. Over the last couple months, we've seen a decent amount of earthquake activity, about 117. This is just the past 30 days. There's been more than this, specifically in this area. Now, looking at the satellite view out here, there's some type of mining outfit out here. I don't think it's associated with that because there's a separate swarm underneath this area. That's a little scary, right? All these houses and all this swarming occurring underneath of them. But we do have a 3.0. I think that's going to be one of the larger quakes so far in this sequence. It looks like we did have another 3-pointer there back in February. But it's starting to spread out a little bit. Notice this little migration pattern. First started off over here. Now it's migrating further to the northeast here. 11 kilometers for that 3-pointer. I don't think there's any ancient volcanoes out here. Not that I'm aware of. Let me pull up the... Let's see here, the map. I don't see anything that really looked like it on the satellite. Mount Abbey. Let's bring up the last historical data here. I just want to check this real quick. Gonna make me nervous there. Now I gotta keep checking my my KBs. All right, so we're gonna go back here. Just we can just go back to the year 1000. Really not going back that far, but you know, I just want to make sure I cover it. And we're gonna draw a little square or a rectangle, whatever, out here across this area of interest, and it's going to be let's see, let me get the exact location again here. Stand by as I zoom in. That's going to be right around the steamboat area, so roughly about here, I'm guessing. Let's see here. Of course, areas, you know, around Reno northward, there's a couple other faults that have seen some decent earthquake activity historically. So I'm just kind of curious about specifically this region here, and we'll see what we got. I pulled up 4.5 and above. Ooh, back in 1869 there was a 6.4 out here. That's a pretty decent earthquake, and that is that's kind of close here, right? In that same general area where we're seeing that swarming activity. Look at that. So there is the steamboat area here. About, what do we got here? Maybe about 3 to 4 miles here to the northeast. We had that decent earthquake, and that's where all this swarming's occurring here. I'm wondering if we're starting to lead up here to maybe something bigger happening out here. It's a little sketchy. I don't remember seeing this larger quake on here, but of course, I was looking out at historical data here when we had a little swarm up north of Reno recently, but I didn't really check down here. But that's a 6.4, 1869, December 26. That's a decent earthquake. If that were to happen today, obviously that'd be very impactful here to the Reno Sparks area, which sits, you know, all those casinos and whatnot, those high-rise casinos, literally within about maybe 5 to 7 miles outside of that epicenter area. So just a heads up here. I mean, I see it directly in that same location there, right? Steamboat, right there, right where we're seeing that activity. So just a heads up, folks. There's a lot more development up here in this area than obviously back in the 1800s when that 6.4 struck, 1869. So a little bit of time has passed there, folks. We'll keep checking on it, but either way, earthquake activity kind of ramping up. Let me get I'm going to do a total tally here in terms of the all magnitudes. We're going to go down to 0, and I just want to check the last couple months here, see if I can get a total tally of earthquakes. There we go. I'm going to draw a little rectangle on the map again and see the activity. I know where I'm going this time. Steamboat area. So roughly about there to up here. That should cover it. So let's see what we got here for technically the last 2 months or so. All magnitudes. Just want to get a glance here. Well, 281 earthquakes. So that's a little bit different number, right, than the last 30 days. So there's definitely been, an ongoing migration here of earthquake activity situated towards this area. And that kind of looks like that's where the 6-pointer, that 6.4 struck there in 1869. It's a little interesting. All right, well, good possibility we may be seeing something pop out there. We'll continue to watch that. Backing out of here, let's go back to the latest informational statement, or our latest USGS statement here. You got to watch that. Low earthquake activity outside of Willows here in the Sacramento Valley, although this is this area underneath the Sacramento River sees some earthquakes here on occasion. I don't know if it's, has to do with the river channel or not, but it seems like for some reason this specific area has some earthquakes. But at that depth there, 26 kilometers, highly unlikely it's associated with the water flow there through the Sacramento Valley. But this is kind of down in there into some of the deeper regions of the Cascadia subduction zone underneath this area. 26 kilometers, excuse me. So, yeah, goodness. Down south, did have some activity off the coast here of San Diego as well. 3-pointer coming in near the area on the, which fault system is this? One of these. There's a couple strike slip faults out here. Coronado Bank Fault Zone. There's a couple trough zones as well. These are kind of thrust faults. These thrust faults can get a little bigger, and with this shallow ocean water out here, that could send a tsunami into the San Diego area if we do get some larger scale movement out here. Historically, there's been some big earthquakes, but it's been quite a while. But for now, just a 3-pointer, some movement on the San Jacinto Fault Zone, and a little bit on the I call it the hazard side, because this is where a lot of the strain from the plate boundary itself it builds, but it really doesn't show a lot of earthquake activity. And when I do see earthquake activity out here, it makes me think that things are, getting ready to rumble, so to speak. But there's a little bit of earthquake activity. If this was a swarm, I'd definitely be more concerned, but just some smaller microquake activity out there right now. Up into the Pacific Northwest, a handful of earthquakes around Mount St. Helens as well. Up at the summit area. And the rest of the country here, movement out in Texas, Oklahoma, New Madrid seismic zone had a little small earthquake earlier this morning, and some activity out in the Appalachian Mountains area, 1.6. So West Coast definitely looks like it's starting to kick up out here a little bit. We'll continue to watch that. Things are dying off slightly out here across the western areas of the Pacific Plate. As you can see, getting a little bit less in terms of the multitude of quakes out here across the area. Still seeing some deeper movement quakes down here in the Tonga region and the southern end here of the Kermadec Trench. Keeping an eye on New Zealand. It looks like they did see a 3-pointer, 3.3 out here around the South Island area. Kind of an older quake there from this morning, but I'm still kind of watching that. But for now, it kind of looks like things have shifted here in terms of the plate momentum and stress level. It looks like it's happening out here across the West Coast and I guess we'll see how this happen. See what happens overnight here. 4.9 though. That's a fairly recent earthquake up here into the Japan area, just about an hour or so ago. 62 kilometers deep. So maybe we're putting a pause out here on the at least the southern end while we watch the northern half here of the Pacific Plate. Looks like that's kind of staying active out here in the area. For the rest of the globe, let's see what we got. 4.3 up here into the China area, it looks like. 4.3, yep, 2117. Just a recent earthquake there tonight. Still live? Yes, we are. Just got to make sure. I've had some weird stuff happening to the stream throughout the years. All right, we got a little bit of activity up here across Iceland, so let's go see what's going on up there across the Iceland area with the latest earthquake map here from vafri.is/quake. 2.8 coming in here right underneath, or right outside the Grindavik area. That's a little concerning. About 5 kilometers deep. Not a whole lot of swarming going on, but that again, that's a little concerning with that 2.8. I'm wondering if we're starting seeing some deeper areas of the rift zones here push further magma up into the area. They're still stating that they're gonna see a likely eruption here soon. Let's go check out the tilt meters here, or the GPS stations, 8-hour run times, and see what's going on underneath the ground. As far as displacement goes, I'm more concerned about the Grindavik area, that town out there. There is, well, this was this morning here when I did the update. I'm really surprised that hasn't updated since then. But there was definitely a little bit of heightened activity there in terms of that that latest dot indicating some upward motion there across the area. Let me check the Svartsengi area and see what we got. Right here. And we're still going up. Still going up, so, you know, it's just a matter of time, I think. Real quick glance at the Icelandic Meteorological Office statement here. Still states that there's an increased likelihood of a volcanic eruption across this area. Most likely scenario or location is going to be outside the Grindavik area, but I still think there's a possibility of Grindavik here being included as well, but mostly around the Zone 3 area, right here in the red, which sits just outside the Grindavik area. We'll continue to watch that. All right, let's see here what we got. It's crazy there. That is a little on the sketchy side, right? If you think about it, seeing an earthquake swarm in an area that hasn't seen an earthquake of considerable magnitude since 1869, that's a little bit of strain built up out there. So I think it's likely it could be leading to something much, much bigger. Movement off into the off the coast here of the Big Island around the Loihi Seamount. These are not too deep, 11 kilometers there, and a couple other deeper quakes here around Pahala. Let's check out the general information here across the Kilauea volcano, which still sits at a yellow and advisory here. The USGS volcano site toning it down to a weekly update instead of a daily update due to the lack of interest, well, not lack of interest, but a lack of earthquake activity. But that may just be temporary. Look at the tilt meters here across the area of the summit. Up and down a little bit. Really no huge major change at all across that area. Earthquake activity, there's a handful of earthquakes, but really nothing major going on that I can see across the seismograph stations for now. So, similar to Iceland, we'll just go ahead and watch that and see what takes place here. Yellowstone National Park up in Wyoming. Any earthquakes going on? Any doom and gloom? Any magma movement? No. Nothing going on. No fear-mongering here on this channel. We try to stick to the facts. I mean, 6.4, this ain't fear-mongering across the Nevada area. This is historical data, and it's been a while since we've seen earthquake activity, right, of that magnitude, and a swarm in that area. Yeah, I think that would grab any geologist's attention there. All right, but yeah, nothing going on across Yellowstone for now. Really not seeing any earthquake activity. Space weather activity here. Let's see if we got any major adjustments going on. I think tonight we're supposed to see that G1 class storm, right? It's possible we may be seeing it right now. We did see a little jump up here around the 4 range. Again, this was only going to be just barely a glancing hit from the side of the CME. And that may be it. Little bit of amplified conditions up here, but there's really not a whole lot going on. For the total eclipse, Kevin here that runs a solar ham site, yours truly is located right in the path of totality. So I'm guessing he lives somewhere up here. Ottawa, Toronto area, Montreal. I will be obviously covering this, but not up there in Canada. I'll be out in Texas, right on the line here. This is going to be the maximum viewing level. I'll have 4 minutes and 24 seconds. One of the most longest durations of totality across this total eclipse area on April 8, 2024. So I can't wait. I'm really excited to get out there. I'll be live streaming it. My last live stream of a total eclipse was back in, it was the Oregon one. I think it was 2014. I was around Madras, Oregon, and it was pretty cool. I seen like stars and Venus and all sorts of cool stuff there when the sun was completely blocked out. There's a chance here with this eclipse that we'll see, I think it's called the Devil's Comet, that may be viewable here. So I'm obviously gonna be loading up on different cameras, zoom cameras, and covering this live as well. So I'll be looking for that camera. I'll kind of cover that a little bit more as we get closer to that date, April 8th, which is 1 month away. And I will be out there, so I can't wait. As far as space weather activity, aside from the minimal storming conditions there, let's take a look at these sunspots, see what's going on here. 3599 is a source of a very sharp, impulsive M flare from earlier. That's going to be right here. Little weak M flare. Looks like a little C flare activity as well following that. But again, the flare threats are very minimal, very low. That M flare actually kind of surprised me. Looking at 3599 here, there's still a little bit of growing complexity here. It doesn't quite look like it's splitting as much as it did last night and this morning. So things look like they may be amplifying out here in terms for this sunspot dynamic magnetic structure out here. The rest of these sunspots look pretty quiet. There's not a whole lot going on, and of course not a whole lot across the eastern limb for now. Overall threat, 75% chance for a C flare, M flare 15, and then 1 in 5 it looks like. Not for sure why there's a 5% chance, but okay. What else we got here? Storm Prediction Center. I know we have a shifting in the weather here as we look at, well, this is valid for Saturday. Slight risk for some severe weather down there. 5% chance of tornado probability for that day. This is the current day 1 outlook for Saturday. So it looks like that was for last night. This is for tomorrow, Saturday. Tomorrow, my time. It's probably Saturday somewhere else. But yeah, a pretty decent chance of tornado probability out there. So just a heads up if you're out there in that zone. Watch the severe weather potential. As you can see, that's stirring up across the south currently as we speak. And we do have a little rainmaker coming in tomorrow. Our next decent chance of rain looks to be, it's a really quick shot here of some precipitation and snow as we head into Sunday night into Monday. And then we got another one behind that. Looks a little weak. But after that, things start to rapidly warm up out here. But it looks like some of the models here across the West Coast are showing a return to wet weather out here across the California area, which is fine. Definitely fine by me. Those look to be a little bit warmer storms, so I'll take a couple more rainstorms before we hit 115 degrees, which is very typical around this area where I'm at here in California. Not Death Valley, but up here around Chico area. Sacramento Valley, Redding can get super hot. All right, folks, I'm out of here. Have yourself a good night. Please stay safe out there. And again, If anyone's got any specific information out there about this area, let me know in the comments. I don't really see anything suspicious out there in terms of, like pumping operations, fracking operations. These look like houses going up on dirt roads. I mean, if I lived out there, I'd probably live out in the country as well. But specifically, this area, it's just right in that zone where that large earthquake struck in 1869. So we'll keep an eye on it, folks. We'll catch you guys back here in the morning, Saturday morning update. Stay safe, everyone.